One of the questions that I get asked all the time by skeptics and atheists and disbelievers in the Bible, people that have their own religions, is why do you think you picked the right God? How are you so confident that Jesus is real, that the Bible is real, that God is real? A lot of the times, probably most of the times, their questions are just a smokescreen. They don't want to hear an answer. They don't want to be told that there are reasons to believe the Christian Bible, which there are. They don't want to be told that there are reasons to believe that God exists, but they're using the question as a smokescreen. Something to deny God by masking it behind a question of perceived inquiry, when really they want to have nothing to do with God. That being said, there are a lot of good reasons to believe that Christianity is the only true religion. First and foremost, from science and philosophy, we have the principle of the first cause. Anything that began to exist must have had a cause outside of it in order to begin. The universe began to exist. And in the beginning, there was no time. Before the creation of the world, there was no before, because time was not yet invented. When God created the world, He created time, space, and matter, because those three things are a continuum. So you have the law of causality. You have the principle of the first cause. Something had to set everything in motion. And that something had to be apart from everything in order to set everything in motion. That something is a necessary being that we call God. Time would fail for me to describe all of the reasons to believe in God. That one is the one that I find most compelling. But why do you think that Christianity is real? Just because you've established that there's a God doesn't mean that Christianity is real. Look, there are a lot of good reasons for believing that Christianity is the only true religion. Beginning with the historical and archaeological evidence that the events described in the Bible are accurate history, from the Ebla tablets that were discovered by Napoleon's army to the archaeological digs that go on across Egypt, across Israel, across Turkey and Greece. We find that the historical record of the Bible is an accurate historical record, far superior to any other document in antiquity. But just because you prove the historicity of the historical accounts and the archaeology of the Bible, that doesn't mean that you proved that the Bible God is real. Okay, look. Look. There are many reasons to believe in the supernatural element of the Bible. History records what has happened in the past. God has revealed to His prophets what will happen in the future. Isaiah was given a specific message that a man named Cyrus would come and do things important to the history of Israel. And 80 years later, long after Isaiah was dead, long after he had passed away and was buried, a man named Cyrus came and did exactly what he was supposed to do. Perhaps the best prophetic evidence is the over 300 prophecies concerning the Messiah, the promised deliverer of the Jews, who would come and die for the sins and rescue not just the Jews, but also the Gentile nations who would believe in him, accept him as Messiah, believe that his death on the cross would save us from our sins, and that they would be saved from hell. Jesus fulfilled perfectly all the prophecies that were written about him concerning his first mission to earth. Right now, Jesus continues to fulfill prophecy as he continues to sit at the right hand of God in heaven. But perhaps the best evidence, considering the historicity of the miracles in the Christian revelation, is concerning the resurrection of Jesus. And that the apostles, who were in the unique position of knowing whether or not what they believed was true, were all willing to die rather than reject the belief that Christianity was real. This is something unique in the history of the world. All religions have their martyrs, but never has there been the founders of a religion in the position of knowing whether or not what they preached was real, tortured to deny the faith that they preached, and yet no matter what the cost, no matter what the consequences, the apostles never backed down. There are many reasons to believe that Christianity is the only true religion. Time would fail for me to explain them all if I had the next several years to do so. But if you're really interested in further study, I would highly recommend that you buy the book by Lee Strobel, The Case for Christ, or the book The Case for the Resurrection of Jesus Christ by, I think it's William Lane Craig and Lacona. Also, I'd very highly recommend The New Evidence That Demands a Verdict, Volumes 1 and 2 by Josh McDowell. Also, there's a book by a man named Greenfield, Who Moved the Stone, about a lawyer who wanted to prove that Christianity was a lie. And after he used his great skills as an attorney, his great depth of the rules of evidence, for which his volumes on the rules of evidence continue to this day to be required reading in many law schools. His skeptical, unbelieving mind that wanted to disprove Christianity was forced to come to the conclusion, based on the evidence, that Jesus did rise from the dead, and that therefore Christianity can be the only true religion.